Eureka! The biography of an idea. Camera. Press a button. Take a photo. A photograph is a moment frozen in time. Some photos are printed on paper. Some are on screens. But all photos are taken by a camera. Cameras pick up the light bouncing off people or objects. Photos are all around us. Cameras are too. How exactly did people figure out how to freeze time this way? Around 400 BCE, about 2,500 years ago, a Chinese teacher named Mozi was in a dark room when he saw light shining through a tiny hole in a wall. The light cast the image of the world outside onto the opposite wall. One thing was particularly strange. The image was upside down and backwards. Mozi's writing about this effect are the earliest that we know of, around 350 BCE. Aristotle, a Greek thinker, noticed something similar. During a solar eclipse, sunlight shone through the gaps between tree leaves. It cast many small images of the sun onto the ground. They were all backward. Why? Aristotle wondered. Light moves in a straight line. If it's squished through a small round opening, the rays of light cross paths. When they hit a flat surface in a dark space, they reform as an upside-down backward image. This, very simply, is how every camera works. 1000 EC. In Egypt, an Arab scientist named Ibn Anhalam wanted to do experiments with light. He built a special tent with a small hole on one side. Then he hung a screen on the opposite side. Centuries later, his invention became known as a camera obscura, or dark room. 1600s. In Italy, scientists made the camera obscura even better by adding a lens. A lens was a curved piece of glass that made the image sharper. Another Italian added a mirror. Now the light rays were flipped again, and the image was right side up. The camera obscura was used in different ways over time. Artists used it to make realistic paintings and drawings. They traced the images onto paper with pencil. Scientists also used cameras to study the sky and look at the sun safely. 1820s. 200 years later in France, Joseph Nesphora Nifsine coated a metal plate with a thin layer of asphalt, a type of tar. He put the plate inside his camera obscura. Light came in through the lens. The tar hardened wherever the light hit. Nifsine left it there for hours. When he rinsed the plate, only the unhardened tar washed away. A grayish image was left behind. 1830s. Nifsine's inventing partner, Louis Daguerre, tried a different type of metal. He coated it with different chemicals. With these and other changes, Daguerre created a photo that could be taken in 15 minutes. He called it the daguerreotype, after himself. Now it was easier to take photos of people, but any motion made the photo blurry. And 15 minutes was a long time to sit still or smile. With new lenses and better chemicals, other photographers found ways to take daguerreotypes more quickly. 1830s. Around the same time, an English scientist named William Fox Talbot slipped light-sensitive paper into his camera. He let light in through the lens. After 1 minute, he took the paper out and dipped it in a solution of salt. The image that appeared was a negative. The light areas were dark, and the dark areas were light. Then Talbot laid this negative on top of another piece of the light-sensitive paper. The darks and lights reversed again. Unlike a daguerreotype, which was one of a kind, Talbot had created a photo that could be reprinted. Say cheese! You are using a traditional camera to take a photo of a friend. What happens? Light bounces off your friend and travels towards your camera. The rays pass through the camera lens. The lens focuses or sharpens the light rays before they move toward an opening, called the aperture. You press the button on the camera. At that moment, a shutter opens. It lets the light rays through the aperture. Then the shutter closes again. The light rays hit the film at the back of the camera. The film captures light and shadows, the colors. Everything that put together makes a photo of your friend. 1850s to 1870s. Instead of metal or paper, cameras now cast the images onto glass plates. The glass was coated in a chemical film that was much more sensitive to light. A new kind of shutter opened and closed in 1 second. Cameras didn't have to be kept steady for so long. Photographers could hold a camera in their hands. 1880s. For each photo, a new plate was loaded into the camera until an American named George Eastman made roll film. He rolled up a long strip of plastic film inside the camera. After one photo was taken, a fresh part of the film was moved into place for the next photo. Eastman invented a simple box camera called the Kodak. Inside was a roll of film for 100 photos. When the film was used up, the owner sent the camera back to the factory. The photos were printed on paper. A factory worker loaded new roll of film and mailed the camera and photos back to the owner. Over the next 100 years, cameras got smaller. Camera makers made better lenses and film. Camera prices dropped. More people could afford to take pictures. 1900. George Eastman began selling the Brownie, another box camera. It only cost $1. 1913. A German man named Oscar Barnack invented the Leica camera. It used 35 millimeter film, a smaller size roll film than Eastman's. 1936. Scientists at the Eastman Kodak Company made a film that could take color photos, but color photography would not become popular and affordable for many more years. 1948. Edwin Land invented the Polaroid camera. It printed instant photos in about 1 minute. The ideas kept coming, and lenses that focused automatically, a built-in flashbulb for extra light, taking pictures became easier and easier. The 1980s brought a huge change. A camera without film. Instead, it had a light sensor. When this camera takes a photo, the sensor breaks the image up into millions of pieces or pixels and measures each pixel. How bright is it? What color is it? The camera stores these measurements as numbers or digits. That's why these cameras are called digital cameras. Digital is like a language that all electronic gadgets speak. So digital photos can easily be moved from a digital camera to a computer, to a printer, or to a cell phone. A digital photo can also be deleted and new ones taken. Today's cameras are very different from the early camera obscura, but the idea is still the same, and just as magical as ever. A camera freezes a moment in time so we can remember it always.